it's David Anderson Official. You can follow me on Instagram, but today I'm going to teach you guys how to crank flip. So my bike didn't crank flip before, but I broke my hub completely and ended up taking my chain off just to ride. Realized I still had all the crank flip variations that I had learned, so I'm going to teach you guys how to crank flip in a way you're never going to forget and that you can come back years later and still have all your crank flip variations down. So you don't have to have your bike chainless. My hub is just completely seized up with all the internals blown up inside, so that's the way I'm able to crank flip right now. If you have a cassette or a good greased up free coaster, you'll be able to crank flip just as easily. And I'll walk you through some ways that you could make your bike easier to crank flip. Get away from that. So first I'll start with ways to make your bike easier to crank flip. So if you're having trouble with your crank spinning on or off the bike, with you or on or off the bike, having a looser chain, not like super loose, but not so tight that you can't wiggle it with your fingers, definitely helps. And a good thing to make sure is that your sprocket is aligned with your driver so that the chain isn't angled in any way, that it's just a straight shot for the drive chain. Making sure your hub's super greased up and all the internals in there are going smoothly. And if you're still having trouble, take your chain off of your sprocket and try and spin your cranks. It could just be your bottom bracket. So having a new bottom bracket or just your cranks might be too tight. Could be reasons that your cranks aren't spinning as fast as they should. So there's a couple different ways to crank flip. I'm gonna teach you the easiest way that I know how that makes the most sense to me, which is gonna be spinning the cranks with your front foot. So I'm going to teach you how to spin the cranks with your front foot, and then catching really will come with time, and the way I'm teaching you, you keep your feet over the cranks. So after you get used to how fast your cranks are spinning, the catch will get easier and easier. So I'll show you real quick. That's a pretty good speed for your cranks to be spinning. I tighten my cranks pretty tight to get them to that. Just because not having a chain on there, there's almost no resistance. So if I was gonna keep crank flipping after I have a working back wheel and my chain on, I would probably loosen them a little bit. I kind of over tighten them because my cranks were spinning too fast. But as long as by hand you can get them to spin around a few times, then you'll definitely be able to crank flip. Okay, so let's say you're right foot forward like I am. That would be about your normal foot position for just riding. So when you hop, your cranks are going to be about here, like your feet will be level while you're hopping. So to crank flip, the first thing you're going to want to do is hop and mid-air put your feet up a little in the front, so your cranks are going to be kind of tipped like this. So let's say you hop, you lift up your crank arm, so you don't want them to be level, otherwise you're going to kick and nothing's going to happen. So basically it'd be like doing this and nothing's going to happen. And you're going to try crank flip sometimes and notice that if they don't spin around and your feet are just coming off, like going backwards, that you need to lift your crank arm up higher. So the way to kick it is raise your pedal up and you're going to tip your toes forward. So the reason that the crank arm has to be up higher is so that you can actually get that backwards momentum to kick it backwards. If it's level and you do that, it's just going to spin the pedal. So step one, hop, tip your pedal, kick kick backwards. So the way that I kick them and catch them is by tipping my pedal, and then my foot goes up. So I always I pull my knees up and leave my feet above the pedals so that I can watch them spin around once and catch. And eventually it'll just become muscle memory and you'll land on your pedals every time. I'm sure learning them, you're gonna have a lot of crank flip attempts where you jump, spin them around, and then land with your feet on the side of your bike. So, up, tip, kick. Up, tip, kick. And then your foot's right there. So, you can practice these by just riding and trying to, without hopping, tipping your toes and kicking them, lifting your knees up, and it'll get you really used to putting your feet back on the pedals after you get the kick down. And then you really can mix these up with everything. So you can do them fakie, half cab. 180's a little different, but you can learn them. And there really is just endless possibilities with crank flips. That's why it's another good trick for you to be able to learn. So just remember, leave your crank arm up, tip your toes, and kick. And then you'll be all set. Anyways, here's a couple clips of me and Hayden doing some crank flips. I don't really have that many recent crank flips filmed, so these are just some I filmed for this video. Good luck.
That's still pretty good. Oh. What the?
So remember to not have a loud truck. So guys, remember, just tip your toes. Hold on. So guys, remember the steps. Hop, lift your crank up, tip your toes forward, kick back and up. Okay guys, that's my how to crank flip video. If you guys end up learning it or even getting it more dialed because of this video, I think that's sick. So you can tag me in your clips or send them to me on Instagram at David Anderson Official, and in the comments here on YouTube, let me know what how-tos you want to see next, and I will try and do them. I want to do more how-tos, so I'm starting fresh with some remakes of some old how-tos. I have an older how to crank flip video. I thought I would refresh your guys' memory on that, and then I don't mind redoing another how to tail whip or a how to suicide no-hander, but I'd love to start doing some more basic and advanced tricks as well. So even a how to backlash or a how to 180, anything like that that you guys want to see or want to learn, I'm happy to do. Just subscribe and let me know in the comments what you guys want to see, and I'll work on it. And then catching, all you have to do, keep your feet above. Once you see your cranks come around all the way, you set them back down. I'll catch you guys in the next video. I fixed my bike, but that video is going to come out a little later.